Good day. My name is Matthew Zullo from the law firm of Rappaport, Glass, Levine & Zullo, and today I want to talk a little bit about distracted driving. With the cell phone becoming an indispensable accessory, everyone has them all the time. We've come to learn and know about people who've been in accidents while talking on a cell phone, texting with a cell phone, but that's not the only kind of distracted driving. When you're involved in an accident, there's many reasons it can happen. It can be because someone was speeding, someone wasn't paying attention, someone had been drinking, someone didn't know where they were going, they took the wrong road. But like I said, more and more we're seeing accidents involving the driver who is texting or on the cell phone. And driving requires more than just holding a steering wheel. You have to have cognitive, mental, and visual effort to drive safely and efficiently. And when you're using a cell phone, even a hands-free cell phone, you're still at a 4% greater chance of being in an accident, which is equivalent to driving illegally intoxicated. But when you're texting, it's actually much higher. You have a 24% chance of being in an accident, a greater chance of being in an accident. When you're texting, you have to do all three things. You have to think or be cognitively aware of what you're doing. You have to think about a message that you're going to be sending. You have to visually look at the phone, and you have to manually input the information and then send it. So those are the three things you need to focus on when you're driving, thinking about driving, manually driving, and visually seeing what's there to be seen. Using a cell phone is not the only way to be distracted. You can be distracted, and I've actually witnessed people shaving in their car, driving to work. I've seen people putting on makeup. I've seen people reading books. And those are all ways, obviously, that distract you from driving. Now, as a personal injury attorney, we represent people who have been injured in accidents. We have to do our investigation right in the beginning to determine what caused the accident. Sometimes it's not so clear. It's important that you investigate by finding out who the witnesses were. Did any of the witnesses see the person being distracted? Were they on a cell phone? Were they looking at a map, reaching for something? Those are ways you can establish that a person was distracted. Another way is the police report. Many times people are involved in accidents, and they're much more forthright when they're initially involved, and they'll tell the police officer, I was on my cell phone, I was reaching for a bottle of water, I was distracted by my pet in the back seat or my child. And the police officer will put that in the police report. Then once the suit is started, there are questions you can ask during the deposition of the defendant driver that can establish either they weren't paying attention, or if they say they were paying attention, then how did they get into the accident? And usually, even though you can't establish that they were distracted, that they were reaching for something, or they are on the cell phone, you can exclude all other possibilities, and then it becomes apparent that if they had been watching the road ahead of them, had been paying attention, they should have seen what was there to be seen, and they didn't, and that's a way to establish liability against the defendant. But what makes distracted driving particularly poignant and sad is that it's 100% preventable. And you can avoid these accidents if you just keep a few rules in mind when you're driving. Never text and drive. When you're driving on a highway, it's safe to use more safe to use a cell phone, but please, get in the right-hand lane and slow your speed down. If you don't know where you're going, it's not a good idea to use a cell phone. And also, if you call someone and they're on a cell phone, the first thing you should ask them, are you driving? Is it okay? Can you talk now? Is it safe? If it's not, if they're driving, tell them, call me when you get to a safe spot. If you are involved in an accident, here at Rappaport, Glass, Levine & Zullo, we will be happy to represent you. We'll do a thorough investigation before we start a lawsuit, and of course we'll do a thorough investigation and discovery during the course of the lawsuit to protect your rights as a victim of someone who is a distracted driver.